Okay, so forget all those dense textbooks and long lectures for a minute. What if I told you that some of the most profound life advice out there is actually hidden in plain sight, disguised as these really simple, almost childlike stories?
Yeah, that's pretty much the core idea we're going to explore today. It's like life advice disguised as fairy tales. We're going to dive into a bunch of these modern fables, tiny little stories that pack a huge punch when it comes to navigating our inner worlds and, well, all the challenges we face every single day.
So really, what if the biggest lessons we could ever learn came wrapped up in the smallest stories? Let's find out. We're going to walk through a few, and I promise, with each one, we'll be adding a super powerful new tool to your mental toolkit.
All right, first up, we're going to start by looking inward. This first set of stories is all about offering some really practical tools for managing your thoughts, your feelings, and yeah, those nagging worries that can totally throw you off track.
So, first up, let's meet Timmy. He stumbles upon this really simple but honestly game-changing metaphor. His mind is like a garden, and just that one little idea, it completely changes how he deals with his own thoughts.
And here's why this garden metaphor is so brilliant. It puts you in charge. See, your positive thoughts, those are the seeds you choose to plant and water. And the negative ones, well, they're like weeds, just screaming for your attention. The lesson here is so simple, but it's huge. You get to choose what you cultivate. The more you focus on watering those flowers, the less room there is for the weeds to even grow.
But it's not just about thoughts, right? This whole idea of managing our inner world applies to our feelings too. So now, let's meet Leela. She learns to think of her emotions as emotional weather. The big insight here is that feelings, kind of like your own personal rain cloud, are just temporary. They show up, they hang around for a bit, but they don't have to move in permanently. So what do you actually do when one of those emotional storms hits? Well, this little story gives us a super simple 3-step plan. First, just notice the cloud. Acknowledge the feeling is there without judging it. Step 2, take a deep breath. That's your anchor to right here, right now. And finally, number 3, just gently remind yourself that this storm, it will pass. They always do.
Okay, this next one is so cool. It's about Sophia, and her worries show up as these little mischievous gremlins. Her big breakthrough isn't trying to fight them off, it's actually talking back to them. Questioning all their anxious chatter. It's such a fantastic way to reframe everything and take back control from that feeling of anxiety.
And to wrap up our tour of the inner world, let's talk about Max and his magical masks. This story is just such a powerful reminder that you are in the driver's seat. It teaches us that we can literally choose our mindset. Feeling nervous before a big presentation? Hey, put on your mask of confidence. Getting frustrated with something? Try on the mask of patience. The point is, you have the power to choose how you show up.
Okay, so now that we've got some tools for our inner world, let's shift our focus outward. How can these simple little stories help us deal with the big stuff out there? Things like change, fear, and those huge, overwhelming goals.
You've probably heard the advice to chill out and go with the flow, right? Well, that's basically Maya's story. She learns a really tough lesson trying to fight against a river. And spoiler alert, the river always wins. Her story is a great reminder that sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is just stop fighting and learn to move with the current of change. But going with the flow isn't always the right move, is it? I mean, what happens when you're staring down a huge, daunting goal? For that, we've got Mira's story. And let me tell you, she has a literal mountain to climb.
And how she plans to climb it is so simple, it's almost deceptive. It's not about some giant, heroic leap. It's just 3 things. 1, know where you're going. 2, take one small, brave step. And 3, just repeat. That's it. That's the secret to conquering any mountain. One courageous little step at a time.
And then there's the story of Ben. Get this, he carries all of his fears around in a backpack, just weighing them down, all hidden away. His breakthrough moment comes not from trying to ignore the weight, but from actually opening the backpack and unpacking his fears. When he takes them out one by one, he realizes a lot of them are just old, forgotten worries he can literally just throw away. It's such a powerful lesson in taking fear out into the open to see how small it really is.
All right, for our final section, we're going to turn inward one last time, but with a totally different focus. This is about the most important relationship you will ever have, the one you have with yourself. We're talking self-compassion and self-worth.
So let me tell you about Tommy. He's the guy who discovers his own inner glow, like a hidden light inside him. I love this idea. You can think of it as your own personal, internal hype coach. It's that unique spark or talent that's inside every single one of us, just waiting for us to notice it and let it shine.
Now, Leo's story. This one is really powerful. It's basically a deeply moving exercise in self-compassion. He imagines meeting a younger version of himself, a mini you. And the story poses a question to all of us. What would you say to that little kid? You'd probably be super kind and encouraging and forgiving, right? So, the big question is, why on earth don't we treat ourselves right now with that same kindness? That right there is the heart of self-compassion.
And building right on top of that idea is Kira's story. It introduces us to the beautiful Japanese art of kintsugi. It's where broken pottery is repaired with gold, so the cracks themselves become a beautiful, celebrated part of its history. It's this amazing lesson that our own scars, our own imperfections, they aren't flaws we need to hide. They're golden marks of our resilience.
Okay, so let's pull all of this together. We've basically just built an amazing toolkit of metaphors, right? You've got the brain garden for your mindset, the emotional weather for your feelings, the magical masks for being adaptable, you've got the river and the mountain for knowing when to act, unpacking your fears for courage, the inner glow for your self-worth, and the golden scars for true self-compassion.
And all of this brings us to the final and honestly the most important question. Because these are more than just cute stories, right? They're actual frameworks for living. The real takeaway here isn't just what you learned, it's what you're gonna do with it. So I'll leave you with this. Which one of these stories do you need to start writing for yourself today?